Yeah, it's time. It's tea time.
Yeah.
Put on your tea pants. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Or if you're living in a country where pants right now would not be an appropriate choice.
We're also not wearing pants. Take that.
You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't. Except for that one episode.
Right.
That one April Fool's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a joke. Anyway, we are wearing pants. It is pants weather out here.
If you know what episode I'm talking about, link it below.
Yeah. Share it with your mom. No.
Yeah. Share it
do
with
that.
your grandma.
Don't do that. So, we've got some old.
Not 2005. So,
Okay.
So, this is a Bulang Double Lions cake is what it's called. Yeah, Double Lions.
Cool.
It is from some of the folks over at Teas We Like. And it is in Malaysian stored, and it is a pretty strong tea.
Uh-oh. This is how we end TeaDB filming.
Yeah, and this is how we end our life. Well, this is how we end everything.
So, it's currently about 3 o'clock, we'll say.
Yeah.
What time of day do you say, man, I want to drink a ass-kicking raw pu'erh, but I'm not going to?
Probably this is past the time when I would normally start.
Same.
But we are sharing it, which means we only get hit half hard, and we're not going to go. We're not going to brew the whole thing out today. So we will have.
I was just like down here, and I'm smelling the peatiness of this thing.
Yeah, this thing has
Smells-
that gasoline
Oh
feel.
my god!
Yeah,
Smells like the kilt of an Irishman, Scotland.
right. I mean, so
Holy
this,
Moses.
this tea been stored in Malaysia. Malaysia, not known to be a cold and dry place.
Yeah, I
Quite
was
the
gonna
opposite.
say.
So it's been aged for a while. But I think the interesting thing about this tea is that it's just strong enough that it could use some more age too. It's just very strong.
We'll
the
see.
material.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It smells potent.
Yeah. So I did want to bring this tea onto the show, just because I think it is a bit unique.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to try something like this.
Yeah, totally.
Like, there's not a lot available that I've seen that's similar to this.
Right. I mean, yeah, Malaysia's not the most regular place to have tea stored. Yeah, always excited to try different smells and flavors and...
Yep.
Holy Moses. Here we go.
Cheers.
Strong, but it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Some sweetness.
This is not going to be a straight bitter experience. I have had
Okay,
this tea.
okay.
So this will not be like the one time where we're like, oh, this is some nice tea from Taiwan.
Like battery acid, like, ow.
Yeah. And then it's like someone's forcing you to take some smoked crack or something. I don't know.
I don't know what that's like, but I can't imagine
I don't know
it
what
was...
it's like. I think, but it probably would have been very similar to that episode. So, we're going to expect it to get a little stronger, as we can tell from sort of the steep number 2. Steep number 1, though, you can tell it has strength, but it's not quite at the overpowering level.
No, it's still sweet. It's nice. The first steeping is strong, though. I mean, I can only imagine that we're going to get into it.
Smoke?
Yes. Great sweetness, lasting sweetness, though. Just like a nice residual... I'll feel medium-bodied, smoky aftertaste, certainly. Not as peaty. Really nice. It's actually really tasty.
So you think it's not quite as peaty as the nose?
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And the mayhem continues.
Steep number 2.
Here we go. Cheers. Much more medicinal, bitter, sweet front.
Yeah, a little bit of that sort of like menthol. definitely
Totally.
tastes aged,
Yeah.
and also definitely still tastes very strong.
Yeah, I mean, it has the peatiness now more. But this is a strong tasting tea, but actually I love the balance on it.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, it can get...
We'll see.
Yeah.
I will try to prevent it from getting too strong.
Right.
Yeah.
But as is, there's quite a bit of sweetness. No, this isn't going to pass the mom test. This is going to be kind of a more of acquired flavor profile, probably. But smoky and sweet, if you like that, if you, yeah, I mean, really nice. I mean, if you love lap song, and you want to try something very, well, pretty different, but you love lap song, this might be a really cool kind of bridge tea to get you into Pu'erh. And
Right.
I think it's really tasty.
Yeah.
I was expecting this to be a lot more offensive.
Right. And normally to get the sort of like really heavy strength profiles, you got to search for something that's a little younger. So I think it's a sort of, you get that sort of interesting complexity of like sort of a semi-aged taste with some of that more sweetness.
Right.
Really good aftertaste too for
Yeah.
this tea. Like now it's like all that bitterness is sort of dissipated from my mouth, and it's just very sweet.
Right.
In the throat and in the mouth. So
And there's a sweetness. It's not like you can't have menthol, medicinal flavor, and sweetness at the same time. You can, and they kind of complement each other.
Yeah.
It brings that aged, earthy, raw flavor to the table while also maintaining a sweetness, which
Right.
I don't know how this would last for another 10 years being aged. What do you think, James?
I think it'd probably do very well. Where exactly it would be at, I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would guess that some of that smokiness would continue to dissipate a bit more. Compared to the tea that I'm thinking of that we had maybe 8 or 9 episodes back, the really strong one that took us both off guard, this tea is not so acrid.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't
Totally
have that
agree.
sort of like pill bitterness that, in my opinion, little unpleasant to take in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spot on. There's almost, so acrid, that flavor for me is that almost chemically metallic flavor that sometimes if you like accidentally didn't swallow a Tylenol too quickly or something like that, you can get that like bitter pill flavor, and it's awful.
Yeah, like there's a reason why we don't chew up pills and eat them. It tastes bad.
So I mean, frankly, some of the nose on this has a little bit of the leanings towards that acrid flavor, and I could have imagined that early on in this tea's career, it might have been more in line with that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's actually an interesting point. I think that because we know that this has been aged in Malaysia for, I don't know, 13, 14 years, and that aging is going to be pretty significant, I think it's totally possible that at some point it did have some sort of really smoky, most likely, and very bitter profile.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This one's stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely more bitter. Just getting deeper into the earthiness of this tea, more minerally.
Right.
Some of the benefit of these more intense teas is that they're dynamic in a way that's just more noticeable. You really notice that, wow, this started out sweet and now it's pretty bitter. And oh, hey, now we passed that hump and we're getting back into some of the sweetness.
Right.
If you really can't stand the bitter brews of steepings kind of 4 through 6, 3 through 5, 3 through 6, 3 through 7 sometimes even,
Yeah.
you can skip them. I mean, not what I would want to do, but if you want to...
If you're drinking with someone else, let them drink it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give it to your friend.
Give it to your kid! See what a 4-year-old's like on this tea.
But the point is to find it to be pleasurable. Obviously, I think we find these flavor notes interesting. I wouldn't say this is my favorite thing to drink in terms of what I would go after for a daily drinker. This steeping,
Yeah, I agree.
It's got some bitterness to it, but it's part of the evolution of a tea like this.
Another tip of advice I'd give for strong teas, not just this tea in particular, but just strong teas. I still enjoyed that shape.
It tastes like mezcal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is don't slow down. Because if you let this cup get cold or to room temperature, it's just going to be that much nastier.
Yeah.
Like, if it's bitter, then if anything, try to slurp it down while it's hot.
Right.
Deny a couple cups if you don't want it.
Right.
But once you let it cool down too much, it's just going to be that much nastier.
Yeah.
So it's a little counterintuitive because if you don't like the cup, what you'll usually do is you'll just sort of leave it there. But if you intend to drink it fast.
Yeah.
Because that bitterness is just going to be stronger and more in your face if you let it cool.
Indeed. This is kicking my ass in a good way.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's so strong. I mean, it's so intense and overwhelming.
I think these last two steeps were the strongest, just in terms of in your face bitterness, some smokiness. How do you characterize the smokiness? Do you think it's sort of like more in the sort of retired smoke category, as in like, or is it still like pretty kind of active in your face?
I think it's still a pretty active flavor in this tea. For me, at least, it's not like there's sort of hints at it. I'd say that it's a pretty strong and predominant center of the taste profile here, and that's not a bad thing. I think it probably would also chill out a little bit over time too. So, it could be something that you take time with. Again, I think if you like lap song, this is going to be appealing to you. Right now, even though there's still plenty of sweetness to this tea, it's just so powerfully bitter. It's hard to notice it sometimes.
Right.
But I think there's a sweet smokiness to this tea that's really pleasant that you can get to fairly quickly. I think that we'll start to get there in a second.
So, putting this into context too, I think this tea is from Bulang. This region tastes really nothing like in Iwu, which is probably one of the most commonly brought on pu'erhs that we have. Just much stronger, more straightforward, more in your face.
Yeah.
This is not a subtlety.
Right.
There are subtleties to it, but you most of it is pretty in your face.
Totally. Yeah. And that's, it just, it's just up to what you are interested in drinking and what you find enjoyable. I remember making tea for someone, and I made the first steeping, and they're like, "Oh, it just tastes like tea," and I was like, "Great." And he's like, "I'm, saying like this is what I get out of it." He's like, "I don't really get any of that stuff." And I'm like, "Great, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy it. Maybe it's pleasurable for you or not. Whatever. We're just gonna chat anyway." And then we had another steeping of a different tea. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Now I can taste the differences between these teas. Now I know what that tea tastes like." And so this might be this is one of those teas that it's very apparent what it tastes like. Someone like that who might struggle to figure out the differences between these two teas because they have to compare them, you're not going to have to struggle very much with this kind of a tea. You're going to be able to taste what's going on here. Even if you don't know how to distinguish the flavors very well, you'll still be tasting the strength of this tea in a good way.
Right, yeah. If you're someone that really craves just like strength and potency,
right,
this tea is very right up your alley. Yeah. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Tasting the age more now, a bit more tomato vine, garden earthiness, verdant. Still quite bitter.
Right, and like this tea is sort of just so strong that you just don't want to push it that much. So my guess is that if we could push it a bit more, maybe some of those more earthier notes might come out. Yeah.
And the solution to that too, just takes patience, is time. So I imagine this tea really will transform. It's aged a lot as a result of being in a very humid environment with pretty consistent temperatures. It's really humid and hot. So out in a place like Pacific Northwest, where we have a decent amount of humidity, but
it's colder.
It's colder. It's not going to age as quickly. It'll take a little bit longer. It'd be interesting to source the material in 5 years, tasting it here and then tasting it somewhere else, from somewhere else. Probably a kind of a challenging tea to pick up, James.
Yeah, I mean, this is available. It's not cheap. It's $250. It is very unique, though. And I think the base material of it is pretty good, honestly.
Yeah. I can see this tea appreciating, but not a recommendation to go buy it for that reason alone. It just seems like, it strikes me as the kind of tea that, wow, there's a lot going on in this tea today. It's pleasurable. in certain ways today, and I bet in 5 years and 10 years it's going to be even better.
When would you drink this tea?
Man, I've been like struggling to get a good night's sleep. This is the kind of tea that is just like, wake up. So and unlike coffee, if I haven't slept well enough or I've kind of underslept or stressed out, tea is one of those beverages, maybe it's the theanine in it, legitimately it could actually be the theanine, not just like hocus pocus, that I find that while it's stimulating, it also is calming. The theanine, the amino acid in it, is a calming, it's not a neurotransmitter, it's just amino acid, but it does calm you down, unlike a coffee.
Right.
So, if I want a pick-me-up, this is the kind of tea that is like a state change. Like your body and your mind and your everything is just like, okay, I'm in a different mode right now.
I need an outlet to expend all this energy.
Yeah. Dude, this tea vessel also is looking awesome.
It's seen some tea.
That the stains on here have been earned, and it would be a shame to actually wash them off.
Actually, when I'm here on my own, I just put the tea stains on myself.
I just brush them off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually just takes up 7 hours of my day.
Really tasty. It smells amazing. It's so strong. I mean, the smell of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that like the peatiness is still there in the aroma, 100%. And I've been giving pretty short steeps for these, but the tea is so strong that it just doesn't need that much more.
Yeah. Steeping number 6 here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a tea where is it starting to calm down a little bit?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a tea where you should absolutely take your time. You don't need to brew it all the way to the end. When you have it, sit down, you brew it over a couple days.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Totally. This tea is going to taste, after the 6th steeping here from the 5th one, sweeter now, losing some of the intensity. But if I came back to it tomorrow, it would taste plenty bitter still, right? Just kind of in comparison to the previous steeping. Wow, it's really lightened up. It's gotten a lot more back to the sort of higher notes.
Right.
So if you revisit this tomorrow, it still would taste, like a nice bitter raw.
This would be a good tea after traveling. You get some food in your stomach.
Totally.
And you need to do stuff. Do this tea. It's healthier than cocaine. So. Most likely. Yeah. Guess it depends on the dosage, but
we're not.
I don't know. I don't do cocaine.
No Freudian references here. This is a hell of a tea. Teas we like, shout out. You know what? If you can grab a sample of this, I'd say probably more of an experienced tea drinker. You've had plenty of raw pu'erh, so definitely be a tea to pick up.
Yeah, split a cake if that's up your alley.
Right.
It's definitely unique. I can't think of like a good alternate to it. I think I've said that before, but the strength is just very impressive, and I think it's a tea that's not one note in its strength. It's got complexity,
absolutely,
sort of that bittersweet thing going on. If we continued to steep this tea, it would get sort of on the more pleasant notes as we kept going.
Absolutely. So, tasty. Again, I think if you like lap song and raw pu'erh, this is going to be an awesome fit for you. And if you want to kind of just try something new, give it a shot.
If you're sick of tired of all that boutique iwu pu'erh, this tea is a good one to try.
Yeah. If you want to get your ass kicked a little bit. Okay. So TeaDB.org. Check us out. That's the email, tdborg@gmail.com if you want to get in touch. And leave a comment. Of course, you can get in touch that way too. Subscribe if you want. Subscribe if you don't want. If you don't want, subscribe.
Yeah, just subscribe.
Cover all those bases.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should forward this one to your mom.
Yeah, this tea does not pass the mom test.
I don't think so.
Real fast. If your mom wants to do a lot of stuff around the house, then maybe it's a good one.
My mom would like this too. But she's into like funkiness, and she likes her smoky lap song.
It also kind of shows that the mom test is not literally for our moms.
Correct.
Your mom
She would be offended if she was called a mom in this context. Shut up, Mom.
Maybe your mom is like the hater on
She's
our
the
channel.
anti-mom.
Yeah. anti-mom. she's like one of those commenters on YouTube that's like misspelling your name. It's like Danny, he's the worst.
God, I can't believe this Danny guy. He keeps on being alive, man. No, mom. Mom's cool. Okay, that was the longest outro we've done, I think, to date.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
I don't think so.
Next episode.
Cheers.
Peace.